They all hate you, they say. We have to hold each other's nuts, they say. No matter what you do, and in the eyes of everyone else, you're still a, they say. Well, between the stories of middle-aged white women who are past the wall and have hit it head on, calling the cops on innocent blacks for doing frivolous things at worst, to stories about how the minorities or other minorities are attacking black women because they lost the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And Fortnite and PUBG. We have a story, a legitimate story, in which a newly father was fatally shot after confronting a man who hurled the N-word at his friend. Before I begin, if all of you haven't figured it out, we don't cater to fear porn, fear-mongering stories, inciting racial division, and pushing an agenda of we have to watch out for the white man and blah 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 blah, or we have to stick for our own because we have no friends and we all alone, we got. This is not the channel for that. So for any of you out there who wholeheartedly believes in that, this is a trigger warning. I'm just saying that right now. If you insist on staying here, this is a trigger warning. So, new father was fatally shot after confronting the man who hurled the N-word at his friend, police say. Chad Merrill, 25, the brand new father of a 5-month-old baby, was fatally shot in the parking lot of his favorite bar in York County, Pennsylvania, early Saturday morning. It happened just moments after the alleged shooter, James Saylor, hurled racial slurs and the N-word at Merrill's friend inside the Red Rose restaurant and lounge, according to a probable cause affidavit. Now, police say Merrill may have been trying to right the wrong when he confronted Saylor in the parking lot in defense of his African-American friend, according to the York Daily Record. Merrill's brother, Richard Merrill, told the Washington Post that while his family was deeply torn by the news of his brother's death, they were not surprised to hear that Merrill died defending his friend. It was in his nature, Richard Merrill said. He was always the peacemaker. He didn't want people hating each other, Merrill said, or the world being segregated the way it is, with the racism you see all over the news. The world wants to keep everything segregated, and he would rather have seen everyone getting along. According to a probable cause affidavit, just before the shooting, 24-year-old Saylor entered the Red Rose restaurant and lounge and started yelling slurs at Merrill's friend, Jarrell Douglas. Richard Merrill said his brother was sitting next to Douglas when it happened. He said he learned from Douglas that Merrill patted him on the back, telling him not to worry, and to try to tune it out. Douglas cannot be reached for comment. Police said Douglas did exactly that and did not engage with Saylor, who was quickly thrown out of the bar for his behavior, according to the affidavit, but Merrill went outside, apparently looking for the man. Surveillance video captured Saylor in the parking lot trying to get inside a vehicle that didn't belong to him, Hellman Township Police Chief J. Douglas Pollock told the Daily Record. He pulled a gun out of his waistband and haphazardly fired a shot toward the building, Pollock said. He then got inside his own truck, at which point Merrill emerged from the bar. Police say it is not clear what words, if any, they exchanged. Merrill started walking towards Saylor's truck. Then, when he was about 2 feet away, Saylor allegedly shot him in the chest through the window. Saylor then peeled out of the parking lot and on his way out hit an Uber vehicle that was pulled into the lot, police said. Police then tracked Saylor to his parents' house where he lived in the basement. No surprise, according to Daily Record, and promptly arrested him. Saylor has been charged with criminal homicide and has been denied bail, court records show. He denied the assistance of a public defender and no other attorney is yet listed for him. But Pollock told the Daily Record he never once acted like he knew what he did. The extent of Merrill's relationship to the alleged shooter, if any, is unknown, but the mother of Merrill's 5-month-old son told the Daily Record the two of them attended the same high school. Richard Merrill said his brother lit up the most around his new son. He worked as a mason in the area and enjoyed shooting pool at the bar where he died, where he was a regular, Richard Merrill said. Red Rose Restaurant and Lounge did not return messages seeking comment, but shared the family's GoFundMe campaign for Merrill's funeral expenses and a post on Facebook. I'll link it down below, saying, "We'd like to extend our most heartfelt condolences to the Merrill family. Please know that our sincere thoughts and prayers are with you." Others donating money hailed Merrill as a hero for his actions, with one saying, "Thank you. for sticking up against racism. Stories like this, especially in times like these, need to be heard. Stories like this are what give hope to not only the world, but the country. This country. A country that, we have to admit, was built on racial prejudice. And unlike many other countries that practice slavery, doubled down on racial prejudice after the institution was abolished. We can go into the past incidents like Jim Crow or present incidents like the welfare state, which has all but tarnished race relations in the United States. Now, I am not one to pretend that white is right and that every white person is innocent and that the Ku Klux Klan gave my great-great-great-grandfather loot crates and drop boxes and V-Bucks during Christmas. I don't play that. To say something like that would, at the very least, be disingenuous. And to be honest, when it comes to the rightist YouTubers, yeah, it may have been sort of a slight jab, but my feelings about the rightist YouTubers pale in comparison to what the leftist YouTubers push, particularly leftist black YouTubers push about how we all we got, we ain't got no friends, blah 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 blah. And I'm gonna tell you this right now. That narrative is mainly pushed for one reason. These are the same people who insist that integration was the worst thing on earth. It was worse than World War II, the Holocaust, freaking Jim Crow and slavery, and Nickelback, and Soulja Boy, worse than all of them combined. You can name up whatever, but as far as integration, I'm going to tell you guys the truth. The only people who were hurt by integration were the double IQ Negroes who can't compete in the modern, international, globalized society. And the reason why a lot of these Negroes preach this we all we got message, we gotta hold our own nuts because nobody's doing it for us, is because these Negroes are covertly trying to hold black people with privileged IQs and black people who can compete in a globalized society and black people who will be embraced by non-black societies to keep them in the black, gynocentric plantation. That's as simple as that. And stories like this will not be reported by most black YouTubers, if any, because a lot of them have an agenda of keeping you in the Negro plantation, mainly to help them and mainly to hold their nuts. Hold your own nuts while you're holding mine. That's my response. Ooga booga these nuts. And I really mean that when I say hold your own nuts as individuals, not as a race, not as a collective. And I'm not saying that we can or shouldn't network with like-minded people of the same race. That is definitely what I'm not saying. But I will not work with mediocre Negroes who buy into the script. And I especially will not work with stereotypical Shaniquas, man-mans, and simps who insist on good black men upholding the community. And when they use this shaming tactic of, well, where you gonna go? You ain't got no country. You're a man without a country. And we kicked you out because you coon. Snap my fingers. You coon. This plastic toy mines. Even though, oh wait, we ain't got no power to kick you out. What power we got? We aren't black supremacists because we may talk shit, but we ain't got no power. We ain't got no planes. We ain't got no trains. We ain't got no automobiles nor ships nor jetpacks. We ain't got none of that crap. So we cannot uphold a system of nigga supremacy. Know what I mean? No. Reference them to stories like this when the next time you hear that we got, we're all on our own, everybody hates us, everybody's calling the cops on us for the smallest things. Reference them to stories like this, because stories like this is what breaks their narrative, not only of victimhood, but of segregation. forced segregation on good black men who want to do better for themselves and who want to live in better locations, whether it's their own elite black communities or non-black communities. And to the bigger picture, stories like this exist. Now I know they may be the minority. I know a majority of Americans may not feel like how Mr. Merrill felt, to the point in which he was willing and actually risked his life to defend his friend. And I can tell you, living in the northeastern United States, not a lot of people feel like Jack Merrill felt. Not a lot of people in that part of the country would go out of their way to call out an alt-right basement dwelling POS. I mean, the police found this guy in the basement. He was in the basement. And if the police were to go into his computer or his smartphone, I will bet you he would have bookmarked, or his history would consist of the following: Stormfront or Stormcuck, whatever you want to call it. A couple of alt-right YouTubers, you know, your Richard Spencers, your Matt Forneys, your Stefan Molyneux, the list goes on. And the biggest kicker of them all, a mixture of self-hating Asian females looking for alt-right white guys and hentai porn. That, in a nutshell, is the internet history of these alt-right scum. I'm telling you right now, I will bet money on it. You can bet on that. What you can also bet on are people who will stand up for their fellow men, their fellow black men, given that they face racial discrimination. It may not happen too much because, let's be honest, these mediocre Negroes and these man-mans and Shaniquas, thanks to the welfare state, have outnumbered us. The Democratic Party has done a hell of a job in doing that. And all of you who don't see that as the ultimate plan on how they're perpetuating racism by making the hearts of people grow heavy and tired of blacks. If you guys don't see that, I can't tell you what else is up. We have to realize that there are some people out there who care for their fellow man or care for blacks. But not a lot of these people are giving their story out like this. And if we are to have any sort of allies, we need to give credit where credit's due. There are people who I've learned within the past few weeks. I will do videos about them eventually in the form of progress reports, but I will do these videos. Two major politicians, major Republican politicians who were either pro-black or pro-fair rights. One of which was, he's an infamous judge now, but he was pro-black back in the day. Another dude who, I'll give you guys a clue, he's a president, former Republican president, who back in the day, he was about fairness towards every man because he, in his own words, saw every man of every skin color die for his country. But stories like this need to be given and told if we have any hope of maintaining some sort of defense when it comes to real racism and real white supremacy, which the suspect was definitely a white supremacist. And it's funny that you got a coon like myself, a non-leftist coon like myself, calling out this white supremacist. I'm not going to mention his name. I already did it once in the story. But people like myself go after white supremacists way harder, way freaking harder than a lot of these pro-blacks, these hoteps, these man-mans. I bet you man won't come up or... No, I'm not going to even go there. I won't. Yeah, man won't go up against Skylar and Cooter and Bubba. He'll go up against the Carltons and Urkels, but he won't go up against the good old boys with the pickup trucks, with the Fox logo and the monster sticker on their trucks. He won't do that. Nah. Or in the best case scenario, he'll just roast them because that's what man do best. Roast. Anyway, I'm lingering on too long with this video. Rest in peace, chat, Merrill, and everyone else out there. Always bet on X.